Ho ho ho! You know what season it is, folks. Merry tier list season? It's tier list season and no one told me. Why are all the pros suddenly posting tier lists? Did I miss something? Well, just in time, I guess, because as I watch my previous tier list video, there are definitely some characters that I've changed my mind on. After all, the patch was only a couple weeks old when everyone made their 3.5 tier lists, so it was more of a first impression rather than an educated evaluation. Ooh, fancy words. So we're gonna take that old tier list and update it based on new information. Much was discovered since the first list was made that I think we should adjust some placements, and by some, I mean a lot. Bam! This is how much I'm changing, and once again, just so we're not stuck here for eternity, we're not gonna go through every character, but I'll talk through some of the biggest placement changes that I made since the last patch. I'll try to cover the characters that I skipped last video as well, but if you're curious about a specific character that I don't mention, just go watch the previous video. I probably mentioned it there. Also, it should go without saying at this point, but all tier lists are subjective. I personally have a lot of fun comparing notes with some other content creators and also some pro players. I find that tier list videos help me understand characters a lot better. So in the end, it's not about making the most objective tier list, it's about contributing to the community and to the discussion, which means your opinion also matters and should be heard. So if you want to talk about it, join me on my Twitch channel. My streaming schedule is a bit all over the place with the holidays, so just give me a follow to know when I'm live. Alright, this is how I see the game before Baby Vegeta or before a balanced patch hits the game. The final 3.5 tier list. New bottom tiers, Zamasu and Frieza. Zamasu neutral is bad, Ki blasts are bad, level 3 does no damage, he can blow you up when he touches you, and I consider his mix to be good, which really shows that even the characters at the bottom tier can still be viable. That's how good of a place this game is in right now. Frieza, I feel like he doesn't add much to a team. His assists don't really feel good. I've heard from some Frieza players that they shadow nerfed his assists. What the hell? But he's a character you have to build around since his assists are super specific, and sometimes that's fine, except that Frieza is not really a great point character when you compare him to everyone else. And Golden Frieza is still awesome, but you still don't have Golden Frieza when you select the character. It costs 3 bars and it's only temporary. On the other hand, I had both Janemba and Android 17 down here on this tier. I think they're stronger now, so I've buffed them up a tier. Janemba's got big normals, which makes him a monster in neutral, and his Ki Blast game is decent too. His assist also helps his team a decent amount. EX orbs are sick, but other than that, I think he lacks in mix and I think he lacks in damage. I don't really play the character, so this is mostly a placement by feel. You know, when I play against Janemba, I feel like this is where he struggles the most. Android 17 is a really solid character. The Rekka combos are a bigger deal than I thought, but when it comes to mix, he's one of those characters that's playing rock, paper, scissors all the time. Because his Rekkas can be punished, but he can also counter your punish by doing the barrier, so he's basically gambling every time he tries to open you up. I've buffed Ginyu a little bit, but honestly, he could be anywhere on this list. I saw that Cloud put him on a tier of his own, and I kind of agree, because it really depends whether you got the right Ginyu Force when you start your pressure, what you have available when you return to neutral, because some of those Ginyu Force abilities are bad for neutral, but they're great for pressure, so it depends on where you are in the rotation. And it even depends on your opponent. For instance, if you body change into UI Goku, you now have the strongest character in the game, and you've denied your opponent that strongest character. But if you do the same to Goku Black, it's just not as good. A+ also has a new faces that came down from S tier, those being Bardock, Adult Gohan, Yamcha, and Vegeta Super Saiyan. Starting at the bottom, and with how prolific most assists have become, I think Super Saiyan Vegeta just feels less special every day that goes by. Even though he has one of the best C assists in the game, he just doesn't feel that special as a support anymore. Yamcha kind of suffers from the same. His assist is still good, I just don't feel like it's as special anymore. And when I saw the EX nerfs on whiff, at first I thought it wasn't that big of a deal, you know, just don't spam it, don't whiff it, the move is still good, and it is, but being able to just throw those moves out and not worry too much about it is a bigger deal than I thought, and he can't just do that anymore. Adult Gohan just doesn't feel like a complete character until he levels up, and if he's up against someone who plays the Ki Blast game, he just straight up loses. That said, I still think he's super strong once he levels up and once he's in. Super scary damage, mix up, everything. And Bardock, I don't necessarily think Bardock's worse, it's just that everyone feels like they've leveled up, you know? There are a ton of 40 frame block stun assists, which makes him not feel that special anymore. He's super honest, still dishes out good damage, got good neutral, but there are characters here that do almost everything he does, only better. Moving on to S tier, along with some minor positional adjustments that I'm really not gonna bring up, I've brought up the following characters from A tier: Broly Super, Beerus, Android 18, and Hit. I had Broly at the top of A+ because he's a damage machine. Well, I think he's more than that now. Even though he's got bad frame data on a lot of his moves, he can keep you guessing because he's got a ton more normals than usual. Not to mention, every time he combos you, you end up in the corner and you end up getting mixed. I think his biggest weakness is still steel guard cancels, there are a lot of spots where he can do it safely, so that's as far as he's gonna climb. I feel like Beerus is a better, more complete version of Android 17. I know the characters are nothing alike, but let me explain. Remember when I talked about 17's Rekkas and how he's risking to mix you up? That's also Beerus. His mix-up is also risky. He's always gambling to open you up, but he's got better neutral and the risk isn't as crazy. Not to mention, he's also got a reversal. Really strong. Android 18 has godlike assists. She enables defensive play with the barrier, and she enables pretty much everything else with Destructo Disc. EX17 call is not only good for mix-up, it's a great tool in neutral since it shuts down enemy assists, and she can even lock you down in neutral if timed correctly. I don't think her normals are anything special, but 17 makes up for that. And finally, Hit. I just think I didn't understand Hit for most of the time, and maybe I still don't. That made him both scary to fight against, but also made me underestimate him a bit. The thing about Hit is that he has no mix-up. He's gonna open you up once or twice with the 2M or isn't blockable. You know, no one blocks every option correctly all the time, even if you can react to it. Thing is, that's not the game that Hit is playing. Hit's buttons are lariats that he can cancel into other moves. His stance not only hits you from full screen, it straight up baits buttons. That's the game that Hit plays. And then he blows you up if he has meter thanks to his shotgun. He plays a different game from everybody else. That doesn't mean that the game he plays isn't viable. And finally, let's talk about the top tiers, which I'm basically splitting these characters into two halves here. The second half being base Goku, Teen Gohan, and base Vegeta. I changed the order of these three compared to the last tier list. Everyone's putting Teen Gohan in the top 5, and sure, he's got the fastest key blast in the game. Every conversion deals mad damage, and you always end up in the corner. I can see the argument, but Goku's assist is straight up one of the best in the game. His command grab is freaking impossible to punish. You gotta be mashing to punish that command grab. He's got a frame 4 reversal, great key blast game. He's such a complete character that actually contributes a lot to your team as well. Not only with a godlike assist, but also with the damage. Spirit Bomb, which used to be a lot more situational, but now just feels like most of the cast can combo into it. And don't get me wrong, Teen Gohan's DP assist is still one that I struggle to deal with, but it's just not as good for your team as Goku's A assist. And base Vegeta is kind of in line with what I said about Yamcha. The EX nerf is a bigger deal than I thought. Not only because you get punished often when you whiff it, but it went from a frame 4 invulnerable move to a frame 9, and that's a big deal. He still got the loops, the damage, the meter build, the mix-up, still a top tier for sure. And then for the other half of the top tiers, we have the top 4. I know you've seen that Kid Buu at number 4 for the entire video, just waiting to see how I'm gonna downplay Kid Buu. Here's the thing. I'm also running Gotenks on my team. Trust me, I'm not downplaying my characters at all. Kid Buu's got mix-up, right? That's what he's known for. He's got stretchy limbs, which gives him okay neutral. Not really the best for air-to-air in my experience, but I'm also bad at the game, so who knows? Key blast game is alright, not the best. So you take all of that and compare it to Z Broly, you just can't put Kid Buu ahead of Z Broly. Just can't. He denies the key blast game with barrier, or with his own key blast game, which might still be the best in the game. Big normals with armor, command grabs, and a ton of damage for very little effort. Z Broly is definitely in our top 3. And speaking of damage for little effort, this is so getting nerfed next patch. It has to be an oversight. There's no way it was intentional, because what causes it isn't just the EX punches, it's the vanish after it. If you do EX punches into assist, you don't get this damage at all. So I don't think EX punches will get nerfed. It will still be a great move, but the damage that comes post vanish, yeah, that's where I think the fix will happen. Still, even without that, Gotenks has a ton of damage thanks to his new tornado loops. With or without assist, he can always get considerable damage in. And when he ends the combo, welcome to Ghosto Key. I really like his assist as well, so he's also a very good team player. Definitely our number 2 right now. Once the EX stuff gets nerfed, we'll see where he lands, but I think he'll still be a top tier, if that's the only thing they nerf. And of course, our number 1, UI Goku. Honestly, this character might be too low. He deserves a tier of his own. It's not that he's a character that has everything, it's that he's a character that has too much. And the thing is, we haven't fully discovered him yet. Just this week, Fanrich posted some sauce with Sparking Blast, grabbing a character that fell out of his combo, just like that. Most of the tech that we saw throughout the Nationals was tech that was discovered within the first couple of weeks of the character releasing, because honestly, that's everything you need to win. Great assists, great damage, great mix, reversals, hitboxes. I don't even know how to nerf this character, and at this point I'm scared that they might even not know what to do either. I would hate to see this character die because of over nerfing, but at the same time there are just too many spots that need fixing. And if you want to hear me rant about this character for longer, check out this video on how he changed the game. But that's my tier list, and as I said, your opinion also matters here, so if there's a character that you think is misplaced, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And why Why do you think it's misplaced? Or better yet, come talk to me about it on Twitch. Link down below, give me a follow to know when I'm live. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku and I'll see you next time. Boy.